and hello and bonjour. Let's just do 3 cards. I say that all the time. I can't believe we're already in Leo season. I cannot believe that I believe that this week August starts. What? 5 of Swords. The 3 of Pentacles in reverse. And the Strength card. And the Queen of Wands are at the back. The 5 of Swords with the 3 of Pentacles in reverse, that's a very deceitful kind of energy. 3 of Pentacles, you know, that's like having like a lack of, you know, perhaps support, or perhaps there's like a clashing of some sort, or something about disingenuine intentions, especially with the 5 of Swords here, right? How do I want to say this? Because I guess what I'll say is never let the intentions or actions of those around you who are operating with ulterior motives to interfere and get in the way with the way you perceive yourself or your endeavors, or never let any of that interfere with what you have going on, because it's so important with the Strength card here to just remember and understand how resilient and how strong you are and how capable you are. Okay? We have the Queen of Wands here. It's a very confident kind of, it's a confident energy. It's a go-getter kind of energy. She's unstoppable. She doesn't let anything stop her. It's the energy of someone who's fueled and motivated by their passion, by their inner fire, right? That's so funny. Isn't the Strength card Leo? No, that's the Sun. Sorry, I don't know. But I would assume the Strength card is a Leo because it's depicted by a person like wrestling or taming a lion. But nonetheless, as I said, never let those around you, their projections, anything of this nature, stifle you, right? Because these things simply have no power over you, only if you give it the power. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Strength card, there's a resilience to the Strength card. I like that, like I was saying, how like naturally in other cards it's depicted with a person like taming or wrestling a lion. And, you know, lions can represent naturally having pride or ego, you know. If there's one, like a Leo kind of characteristic, and I'm not saying this like in a superficial or surface level kind of thing and whatnot here, but just depending energetically as well too, right? Like when it comes to like Leo, and I'm, like I said, when I'm talking about like Leo, I'm not saying in the sense of just like, oh, on a superficial kind of like level. Of course, someone's personality and everything, astrologically, whatever, depends on so many things more than just like a sun sign, you know, degrees and everything of this nature. But one aspect of Leo, shall I say, is kind of just like liking to have a what's it called, like a pride, or like just basically like the, you know, like the lion, and then just like having that community, or just the other like lions or lion, you know, just like having, you know what I mean. There's an aspect of Leo that enjoys that kind of energy of kind of being the leader, being the one on top, you know, and just kind of having everyone else like second and whatnot here. And you know, when people meet someone who's in their own lane, unbothered, you know, not seeking any external validation, and just really confident in themselves and just loving what they have going on, you know what I mean, just going to the beat of their own drum and whatnot, that can be very triggering, you know, for people who their entire sense of self is based upon people like needing them, or just being the one, the best, or whatever it may be, especially with the King of Swords here in reverse, which is also very ego driven kind of energy. This is like a very controlling kind of energy, very manipulative, very deceitful and whatnot here. But anyway, as I was saying here, you see with the Three of Pentacles as well too being in reverse, right? That naturally the Three of Pentacles that focuses on multiple people and whatnot here. And that kind of goes against what I was saying, a sense of just like seeing somebody who doesn't like really need that validation or whatever, and is more than willing to just do something on their own and by themselves and whatnot here. That's a very triggering kind of thing and whatnot here. But I don't want to feed too much or talk so much about it and whatnot here, because nonetheless, right, with the Strength and the Queen of Wands, that can't stop a person. Like I always say in my video too, is fueled by their own inner flame. You know what I mean? Authenticity is a very important thing, because that also, when you are authentic and true to yourself and everything of this nature, you don't have to wear a facade, you don't have to wear a mask, shall I say, to be liked or to be perceived in a certain way and everything. The Magician, right? Because the Magician has all the tools that they need, all the tools necessary to create whatever it is they're wanting to create. It's a naturally very magical kind of energy, a creator of their own reality. You know what I mean? It's like, because with the Five of Swords, it's also depicted by, you know, like this person has taken the swords of other people, and not in a very deceitful and scheming kind of way. And I do find that people do go out of their way to try to limit perhaps one's access or resources, or just to kind of box a person in, thinking that that'll kind of do something here. But the thing is to know that, understanding and knowing that you are the magician, you are the magician, right? You'll always have the resources, materials, whatever it may be, necessary to proceed and do whatever it is that you want to do. Always. Look, I like how it's the person, like, you know, just doing something, and then you have just the people like in the shadows, and that's just, you know, I was about to say, I keep seeing like a lot of kings in reverse. We have the King of Swords in reverse, and we have the King of Wands in reverse. I also have the Knight of Swords in reverse, but also the King of Pentacles here. And there's something, and I'm not gonna lie, I also saw the Lovers and I saw the Two of Cups here, right? And so it honestly could be pertaining towards some kind of relationship or just dynamic, right? Some kind of partnership, relationship, whatever it may be here. And I'll say with these two kings here, especially with that Knight of Swords there in reverse, it feels as though somebody, you, or whoever ends up seeing this, you just being in your, doing your own thing and just being that Queen of Wands, or just really doing what you need to do and just being authentically yourself, whatever it may be, could be triggering for some kind of energy around you. I know this is a king or whatever, but it's just like energy could just be anyone. And especially if like by you doing so is kind of like allowing you to kind of detach or take a step back from certain people, environments, energies, whatever it may be. Because think of just like the Hermit, you know what I mean? Like it's the energy of also just being fueled and being rejuvenated by being by yourself and not really needing to be or around, you know what I'm saying? Kind of just focus on your own thing, I will say, with this King of Pentacles, on creating and on building. Yeah, look, the Lovers there. Anyway, one more, I swear, and that's that. The High Priestess there in reverse. I will say with this as well too, to continue doing whatever it is you're doing, to keep taking a step back from whomever you're taking a step back from, and keep stepping towards the things that you are. You know, this is a card all about adventure, excitement, curiosity, experience, right? Keep releasing what you're releasing and striving towards what you're striving towards, because any environment, person, whatever it may be, that benefits from you kind of doubting yourself or not listening to your own intuition, your own inner guidance, you know, going by your own truth or whatever, is an environment where you don't need to be. Anything that presents themselves to you, anyone that presents themselves to you with a mask, simply has no place in the space of a person who lives and embodies their own truth. Those are just, it's the complete polar opposite, you know what I mean? And I'm not like, people have the choice to do what they want to do. If a person chooses to wear a mask the entirety of their lives, whatever it may be, and enjoys controlling and manipulating, all to feel validated by other people or whatever it may be, let them do that. But when you're authentic as well too, you know, naturally think of the sun. The sun shines, the sun illuminates the sun brings clarity and brings truth, and that'll only simply crack whatever facade there is. And instead of people allowing that light, the warmth, to fill in the cracks with the way that it can or whatever, that, like I said from the beginning, that's a very triggering thing. And so naturally that in turn can trigger a person to, like I said, do whatever it is that they can to like stifle a person, to stifle the person's flame light. You know, like think of just like Five of Pentacles. You give that energy of feeling like isolated or like excluded or like left out or lack of shelter, support, and whatnot here. Yeah, I see the Five of Wands, like conflicting energy, but it's just so boring. You know what I mean? What that also means is just doing something right. And so I would really just say to be proud of yourself, to be confident within yourself, and naturally, as I said, to keep doing what you're doing, because whatever it is that you're doing, whoever you are, whatever it may be, there's simply no one else who can do it the way that you do. There's no one else who can be you. There's only one you, and that's what makes each and every one of us unique. And it's such a beautiful thing when we embrace who we are to our core and choose not to be ashamed of it, but to welcome it and to share it and to embrace it. Because truthfully, that's what I believe. I really just believe that we're here to be our truest selves, and to really just follow all the things that make us feel passionate. And I promise you, you will definitely meet the people, the connections, whatever it is, you will meet the people who, instead of rejecting who you are, your light, your truth, will welcome it and love it and embrace it.